Hello, welcome to CWI Part B Practical Book of Specification Lecture 16. Today I'm gonna give a lecture about Chapter 5, and last time we stopped at Table 7. So we're gonna talk about this 5.2.3. 5.2.3 Table 8 lists the procedure qualification variables to be recorded on the PQR for each welding processes. So Table 8 specifies each welding processes like it's a welding process FCAW, GMAW, GTAW, SMAW, and like before, WPS variable list, joint design, base metal, filament, and etc. Change in a procedure qualification variable beyond the limits shown in Table 8 shall require a new or revised WPS and new PQR. If a change procedure qualification, like here listed in Table 8, variable changes beyond the limits shown in Table 8, require new or revised WPS or new PQR. A new PQR is a big problem, disaster, because it takes cost and time. But revising WPS doesn't take any troublesome things. So usually, if things are changed in the Table 8 variables, revising WPS is recommended. The PQR shall list the actual values of the variables used. The key to the entries in the body of the table is as follows. So PQR, procedure qualification record, shall list the actual values of the variables like this. Base metal variables, filament variables in the PQR for the actual values. So for the Table 8, you can just see and read what things are listed here. And Q means qualification, and T means when impact test is required. The variables changed and the limits beyond this Table 8 requalification is T. Table 8 continued. Filament and preheat, interface temperature, post-weld heat treatment, shielding gas, electrical characteristics, and other variables. In the CWI Part B actual questions, some kind of variable questions are in the actual exams, but not difficult questions. So for example, I'm going to show you the actual questions. So it says C, PQR, GTAW, SMAW, M3. The welder is welding M number 3 and 1-inch plate with GTAW and SMAW. Which of the following is correct? So WPS variable is 5 to 38 millimeter, and M number is M1. Production weld, actual welding, the welder is going to use 1-inch, which is 25.4 millimeter, and M number is 3. Which of the following is correct? Number 1, WPS allows only M1 base metal. Use of M3 requires requalification. So go back to the Table 8. Table 8 says in the base metal section here, changing base metal thickness beyond, this is not a qualification thing. The thickness is in the range of the qualification. And here number 2, change from one M number base metal to another M number base metal or to a combination of M number base metals except as permitted 5.2.3 1.1. So go to 5.2.1.1, then it says blah blah blah, but example says 5A to 5A would qualify M5A to 5A, as well as 5A to M4, and then 5A to M3, and 5A to M1. So this 5A is a higher number of the M number, and 5A also qualifies lower M numbers like M4, 3, 1, but not vice versa. So lower M number doesn't qualify higher M number. So in the question here, M1 does not qualify M3. But if WPS says M3 in the production wording, M1 is possible because higher M number qualifies lower M number. So the answer is WPS allows only M1 base matter. Use of M3 requires requalification. This is the answer. Thickness is in the range because this is 25.4 millimeter and range is 5 to 38. M3 is acceptable? No. None of the above is not the answer. So answer is number 1. This kind of simple questions are in the CWI Part B questions. So I'm gonna move on to next paragraph, which is 5.3 Procedure Qualification Test Requirements. 5.3.1 Evaluation of Group Test Workmen. Test workmen shall be subjected to the following. So PQR test workmen shall be subjected to visual examination and guided band test, 4 side band specimen, or 2 face band and 2 root band specimens. Sideband specimen may be substituted for face and root band specimens for metal thickness from 10 to 19 millimeter inclusive. So no 2 face and no 2 root band specimen for 10 to 19 millimeter, but just 4 sideband specimen is possibly taken. For metal over 19 mm thick, sideband specimens are required. For base metals 10 mm thick and greater, sidebands are required for GMAWS. GMAW, short-circuiting transfer mode. For this process, base metal 10 mm thick and greater, sideband test, only sideband test. 4 sideband tests are required. Number 3, tension test. 2 transfer specimen tension test is required. And number 4 is CVN, means Charpy V notch fracture toughness. If required, 3 specimen from word metal and 3 specimen from heads. So for example, we have Workmen right here. This is Workmen and heads like this. This is head, and this is also heads, and heads. This is word. So we make a specimen from here, and 3 specimen on heads, and 3 specimen on word metal for CVN fracture toughness test. 5.4 Procedure Qualification Acceptance Criteria. 5.4.1 Visual Examination Acceptance Criteria. Prior to removing specimen blanks from the completed test workmen, The work shall be visually examined on all accessible surfaces and shall meet the following criteria. 5.4.1.1 There shall be no evidence of cracks, incomplete diffusion, or incomplete joint penetration. We studied this incomplete joint penetration IP and incomplete diffusion IF, and cracks, there shall be no evidence of them. And 5.4.1.2 The depth of undercut shall not exceed the lesser of 10% of the base metal thickness, or 0.8 millimeter. So depth of undercut is not be greater than this 0.8 millimeter or 10% of the base metal thickness, and you select smaller one of these two, between these two. And 5.4.1.3 porosity shall not exceed the limitation of clause 2, 3, or 4 as applicable. 2 is structural steel, visual inspection acceptance criteria, and number 3 is workmanship requirements and visual inspection acceptance criteria for pipeline, and number 4 is pressure piping. So today's lecture is gonna be short like this, and I'm gonna stop here, and next lecture I will cover this 5.4.2 bend test criteria. Thank you for listening my lecture, and I'll see you next time.